Welcome to my garage. So you've seen plenty of photo shoots of my studio work on my channel, but this is actually the garage. And as you can see, it looks like a garage. There are plenty of pros to having a studio in the garage. There's plenty of cons to having a studio in garage. Today, I kind of want to show you a quick little time lapse of me getting my garage studio ready for a photo shoot. But then I'll also try to do a quick little explanation for what I actually have in the studio. I hope you enjoy it. So get ready to go. Oh, crap. Hold on. I think I've got this one set up. And that's what we got. We got the whole studio right here. So yeah, I've got a lot of stuff in here. It's a garage. It's like a typical garage. As you can see, I've parked the cars in here. I actually just bought the two metal racks that you actually saw, and they're fantastic. They've got wheels. I got them at Costco. They were like $99 each. I've got photography gear on one and then garage crap on the other. But as you can see, I've got a 4-light setup about ready to happen. And what I'm actually going to be doing in the video is 1, 2, 3, and 4 light setups, just to kind of show that. I just wanted to show kind of what you can do. Now, I do have a large garage space. This is a 3-car garage. I think it's about maybe like 28 by 23, something like that. It's a pretty good space. Before I had it like this, I used to have it running from the opening to the back side of the garage here. And it just limited me a little bit on space, to where if I was shooting a little bit with a longer lens, I was typically outside of the garage. I figured, you know, if I can do it this way, it gives me a little bit more space, so I typically can shoot from inside the garage all the time, which definitely a zoom lens helps and gives me a little bit more flexibility with that. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually bring the camera just a little bit closer so I can kind of show some of the things that I've actually got in here. And pretty much everything that I've got for my studio, other than like the backgrounds, I bought on Amazon, and I can get those linked. Remember, I've got an Amazon affiliate link that I'll get below, so you can check out everything that I've got there. But give me just a second, and I'll get this closer to you. All right, so this is probably an OCD person's nightmare, but like I'm somewhat organized, somewhat not. You can see I've got all these tubs all over. I've got all these shelves. But that background is holding or hiding something that is massively disgusting, tools and stuff like that. So I am not a tool person, and they're just scattered all over the place. But so warning, warning, warning to my OCD type people. But this is it. So I've got my C-stands. As you can see, you've seen me use the C-stands. These are the Godox SK402s. They're nice little studio lights. They're all AC power. Can't really use them anywhere else. 400 watts. Their only drawback is the lowest power that can actually go is 1/16 power. But that is the Godox SK4000 or 402s. For my overhead light, I've actually got my 8200 sitting up there in a newer 24-inch softbox. Might be 18, but I think it's 24. Over here, I've got my Flashpoint or Godox 8600 base model. And as you notice on the back, that is not the battery charger. That is actually the AC adapter. So I'll get you a little closer because I bought two. Because I wanted to use that 8600 in studio without having to buy another lens. So this is the battery pack. So as you can see, it just plugs right into the back of the base model 8600. And I can use it without having to drain batteries. Here's the rack I was mentioning with photography stuff, highlighter, gear. So I've been doing some travel studios lately, and this stuff makes it so handy to just pack it up, head out, come back, unpack, and we're good to go. In the little walk around, you might have saw that I actually got this little sticky pad here. I actually haven't pulled off the sticky. I was faking it, but you basically just kind of do like this to get crap off your feet, and then you would walk right onto the background. So that actually brings me to the background. So here's my background. I've got several different options up there. They're basically, I think I've got six actually mounted, and I'll get the link posted to these. You can get them on Amazon. I think I spent about $70 or $80 per. And then what I also did was I bought the metal poles. So there's two different metal poles, and I can't really get up close enough, but two different metal poles. You see there's one bigger and there's one more chrome. The one on the tan is more chrome, the one on the brown is bigger. So the one on the brown is what I actually used initially when I first started doing it, and it works well. The only issue is when I basically unbox the background, I have to kind of roll it onto that. Whereas with the smaller one, and again, I'll get those linked in the description, you can just roll that bar right through the cardboard, and it fits very well. It's got little rubber grommets that keep it on like very secure. So if you don't put the rubber grommets on, when you go to spin it, that metal bar will just kind of spin and it's not going to release anything. So you need it to have some type of attraction, and those rubber grommets give traction. Pros and cons to having your own studio. So there are definitely some pros to it. You know, I have my own space. I can create when I want, how I want. You know, I don't have all these props. I'm very limited on space. I'm like, I can't just have photography props in here. This isn't just studio space. I function, right? On a day-to-day. Photography isn't the only thing that I do. You know, I have a life. So, but I've tried to make the best of what I can with the space that I have. And I think every photographer can do that. Whether it's in their garage or inside their house, they probably can create a small studio space. And if you're a photographer and you've never done studio, I highly, highly recommend jumping into trying studio work. It's a little bit different than shooting outdoors. It was actually something that was very nerve-wracking to me starting in studio, where I actually met with a photographer who was a studio photographer, and she was nervous about shooting outside because she couldn't control the lighting. So I thought that was kind of a funny thing. But this is really cool. You control all of your light, but this is it. So again, the biggest pro is I've got my own space. I don't have to rent a studio. I've got my own space. The biggest drawback of having it in the garage is it's in the garage. It's not climate controlled in here. That would be something that I would love to do, but I don't know that that's in the future plans. But that is something that if we were planning to stay in this house, I would get this more climate controlled. Basically, I'm right here at the middle or at the end of my studio season. Once it gets to like June, July, August, September, it's just way too hot to shoot in here. So I pretty much have to close it down those 4 months out of the year, which kind of sucks because that takes away one of my functions as a photographer. Now I have to go find studio space and rent studio space. So the biggest pro, I've got it all the time, versatility all the time. The biggest con is it's in the garage. It's warm. Like I've got sweat dropping down my shins right now, and it's not even hot. It's not even hot right now. It's nice out here, but that's a big con to it. The other con is, like if you actually have a life and you have stuff going on, you're gonna have other crap in your garage. So it doesn't look the most professional. I'm gonna admit that. You guys can see it. Like there's crap all over the place. The finished product is actually what matters, but sometimes you have clients that there's more to it than that. Like I actually have lost clients. I can say clients. One client, they were going to do some headshots. They were a group of realtors. They were going to do headshots. And I told them that it was in my garage, and they're like, oh, we can't do photos in a garage. Like, I don't understand that, but sort of I get it. So, you know, working with people that I work with more often than not, you know, they understand, hey, you can create in whatever space that you're in, but not everybody understands that. So that's kind of one of those negative type deals. So I would recommend trying to keep your garage organized, somewhat as organized as possible, because sometimes you do have clients that come over that aren't necessarily your typical client. In that case, I just basically apologize and say, hey, sorry, it's my garage, but this is what it is. You've seen the finished work, so you know that it's actually going to be just fine. But that is basically it for the garage studio. I've actually had some people ask about doing a walk around to show what I'm actually using. So that's it. Back here, I've actually got a little TV monitor down there so I can basically show clients what the images look like when we shoot them so that they can kind of be like, yeah, that's fantastic, great, you know, blah, blah, blah. I've got a couple boxes that I built, stuff like that. So garage studio space, it's fantastic. Like typically, even in San Antonio here in December and January, I can actually shoot in the garage unless it's like 30 degrees, because then it's probably about 35 in the garage. But for the most part, I can shoot from October all the way through May in here without too many issues. It's a little bit warm, but you know what? If we're shooting outside, it's going to be warm too. So hopefully you liked the little time lapse that I did, and you know, you kind of got to see basically what it takes to get this thing ready. Actually, I will shout out those metal racks that I have, massive. They made my setup and tear down probably about 20 minutes faster, literally, because I've just got a lot of stuff in here. But having that stuff to where I can just roll it in, roll it out, because before I had those racks 2 weeks ago, every one of those things I was basically hand moving. So having more of that organizational stuff allows me to quickly move things in and out of the space and get this thing ready. So, oh, also I did forget, and it might be a little bit dark back here, but let's show this. So it's a little bit hard, but I've got more racks or backgrounds. I've actually got them on this mount here. Again, it's a little dark just because there's no light back here, but so I'm not just limited to the backgrounds that I have. I can always pick and move and go like that. So basically what I do is I try to reach out to the client and say, hey, what kind of backgrounds are you kind of thinking? What kind of outfits are you wearing? That way I can kind of coordinate more what I want the background to be. If I need to remove it, I can actually remove it during a session. It just takes a little bit of extra time. That's why I prefer to have my backgrounds ready to go. So say if we're gonna go 2 different backgrounds, I can actually remove one of the ones that I know I'm not gonna use, and then I will put up one of the new colors that I need to use. What I have up there that will stay consistently up there is a black, gray, and a white. Because they're always gonna be there. Those are typically backgrounds that I would use, but the colors are the ones that I'll actually move back and forth. So that's it. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask. I really want y'all to realize, and I don't know if it comes across in the videos, I have regular photography work that I do. I have clients all the time. I'm not like a YouTuber that's all I do is YouTube. Like, I think when I initially started the channel, it was a photographer struggling in a videographer's world. And that's really what this is. And so all I'm really trying to be is as true to every other photographer out there that's actually like grinding and doing this stuff all the time. I'm doing what I can to make this thing work. And this is something that I've done to get studio access and to allow me to create something different and give my clients another option. So don't just limit yourself doing, you know, natural light only, or only shooting strobe, or only shooting studio, or only shooting outdoors. If you're a portrait photographer, grab onto these other elements and start working in these other elements. And, you know, you'll open a lot of doors, I think. So again, if you like what you see, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the little bell to be notified for every time I post. Sorry, there's no beautiful photos to look at in this video, but hopefully you've kind of maybe got some ideas, piqued some interest, changed your thought process on a garage studio. Until next time, keep shooting.